07 Commanders. My name's Commander Will Fearon of the Vortex Squadron, back at you once again with another riveting, Elite Dangerous video. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about some kind of, theoretical kind of things, maybe reasons certain things happen, and certain things that I've heard talked about in the community this week that I'd love to no more. Sorry, I just got distracted by Highlander and the thing saying, no more telling the truth. No more truth, please. Can't handle the truth. I know. Anyway, outside of that distraction, that was great distraction, by the way. We're going to talk about some things that I just, I want to get into. And, it's going to have to do with BGS and colonization and certain ways you can do things that will influence enemies and piss off your friends. Let's get into it, guys. Alrighty then. Hey, welcome back. So, you can't handle the truth. So, listen, guys, there's a lot going on in the world, in the galaxy of the Milky Way, and our, in our little space simulation game. It is changing drastically. And I know I spoke about some of this stuff before, where I was saying, hey, look, trade routes are changing. The way things that have been static for, years and years, like certain ways we do things are changing, stuff like that. All this stuff is going on, right? And so I want to talk a little bit more about some of that. And I also want to talk about a little bit more about colonization as it is today. Okay. Definitely not finished, but I'm going to talk about it as today and from a perspective of maybe how you can work things out. Not everybody cares about all the same stuff, right? So like, say for example, some people want to colonize a system because they can afford it and they want a home, right? MMOs typically always have almost all of them have a home for you. Especially the thing that makes it a home though is the ability to customize it. So colonization kind of allows that, but not in the same sense as in regular MMO. People thought we were going to get base building, which is what I thought too, but we didn't know we were going to get system building, and that's a bigger picture, right? Galactic mind. Remember, somebody was saying you're thinking galactically. I said yes, because I'm an architect. I have to think that way because you can't narrow mind everything down to you, right? Because no matter what you do in this galaxy, it's going to affect other systems in that galaxy. Possibly negative, possibly positive. We don't know. So anyway, 07 to Highlander. He's our first one in today. We got to give him 07. And so oh gosh, look at that. Sarge is in. Sarge, the Chuck Norris of the Vortex Squadron, is here. God bless you, my friend. My cousin. 07. So, listen, so one thing I wanted to make clear though, now I don't know if you guys watch other news programs, I'm assuming you do, the news, the ones that just tell you like straight up, here's what's going on. And they're real they're real kind to all sides usually. So they're passive aggressive. Usually when they want to be mean to the frontier, they're passive aggressive. Like I'll make a meme whenever I want to be mean to them. I'll make a meme about what they're doing, and hopefully somebody at the studio goes, "Oh, that's funny. Look what he said," and then they understand. You know what I mean? They have a level of understanding, outside the game, even a bigger outside our galaxy. There's this other thing, right? This world, and then in this world, we're actually in that galaxy, right? So they have to kind of get outside that little game bubble of, oh, I've got a little squad and we're going to take over the whole galaxy, blah, blah, blah. You hear that all the time, right? I always hear that. Somebody, you mean my galaxy? Yeah, sure. 400 billion stars. Go ahead. Literally, I'm convinced, though, guys. Honestly, nobody can wrap their head around the 400 billion thing. Not even the guys on that Lave Radio podcast. They're like, "Are we building too fast?" I'm like, it doesn't matter how fast we build. It's still going to be like 9,000 years before we ever get done. So I think we're okay. I think speaking of that, so are we building too fast? No, I don't think there's any chance of that. I heard some comments on that same show, right? And I'm not trying to besmirch them. I'm just trying to give my, response to what they might have said, because I'm also a podcaster. Don't know if you knew this, but I've done literally thousands of podcasts. So they say, things like that. And then it's like no. They also were saying, somebody was saying like, well, all the slots in the bubble are kind of taken now. And I was like, no, not really, not so much. Because the bubble, I think that the way we look at the bubble, a lot of times is kind of flat. If you look at the galaxy map, a lot of what we interact with is kind of on a flat scale, right? A lot of things just work this way. But the universe goes always up, down, diagonal, sideways, whatever. It's all over. So it's a three-dimensional universe. So so what I did is, because I heard somebody say something about, that all the slots in the bubble were kind of taken. And I was like, really? So I just jumped in the game and I've, just kind of meandered around the map. And I'm like, oh my God, there's still tons and tons of stuff that's available here. So to say that was kind of like, why did they think that? Are they thinking of it on the linear plane? Are they going up and down? I don't know. I get confused. So it's not that I'm mad or anything. I'm just saying, Hey, Urban Orange, my friend, 07 to ya. He's melting. Highlander, you're hilarious, Highlander. Highlander's melting with all this truth bombing I'm doing. No, I'm not trying to besmirch anyone or say I'm right, they're wrong. I'm just saying, when I look at it, this is how I look at it. So maybe people will, kind of understand what's going on in a different way. Not everybody understands things in the same way that I do. Not even my own squad. A lot of times, we have these conversations and back and forth, and eventually, I understand what their thinking is, and then they understand what my thinking is, and then, that may adjust how I, what I mean? Like I may turn my little, sometimes you have to kind of turn your head to the left and cough, and then whatever that's how okay, so he's like seeing it from this angle here, and I'm seeing it from this angle. How do we get it so we're both seeing it right here? That's kind of how these debates work. They don't always work on the internet because, like I said, everything gets, put into a camp. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that, and you don't do this, so you can't tell me that, or whatever. Sometimes that happens, and it's kind of sad, but it's a flat. Yeah, there's flat. Yes, the bubble is flat. Not really. It's not. It's three-dimensional. So one thing I saw today, I also was watching like Commander Burr. I usually watch his program on Friday, which I'm sure as one does, as everybody does, right? We all watch Burr because he's kind of funny, and he does a nice little news program. And sometimes he gets information he sees the information in a different light as well. So, so when I see what he's saying, I go, okay, but he's seeing it from this perspective. I'm seeing it from this perspective. How do we come to the middle in that? It's not always you're right, he's wrong, or, you're wrong, he's right, whatever. It's not always like that. I know sometimes people try to do that to me in the comments, tell me, well, so-and-so said this, and then I just go, oh, that's interesting. And then like 3 days later, when it turns out that it's something different, I'll go back to that commenter and go, oh yeah, by the way, how do you feel about that comment now? Just to pick at them, just to pick at them. So there are some things that are going on in the galaxy. Obviously, colonization is having some serious growing pains, and I think one of the problems we have as players is certain groups are obviously much more hardcore than others. There are some people that are, miles ahead of us in certain areas of the colonization area. There are commanders out there just gobbling up systems as fast as they can, and they're doing it. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. I never see, but I mean, not including the one that was cheating. But I'm just saying the one guy. It's always one guy, by the way, guys. Whenever there's shenanigans, it's never a group of people. It's always one or two, usually one. Just I want to throw that out there. But anyway, I was watching Burr the other day. 07 to you, Darkness. Welcome back. So I was watching Burr today, actually, and he was saying something. Now I don't even remember what I was talking about. I forgot. I got sidetracked by Dark Nexus. But he was saying how things are going, and the perspective of one thing that I wanted to make very clear is that I don't want to be able to erase the entire system and redo it. What I want the ability to do is re-roll positioning or changing a mistake. So one of the things that's not very clear in colonization is without external help, a lot of it is the ability to know, okay, I want to place, you get in your mind, right? You're in your mind and you're going, yeah, I want this to be an extraction system. So you go and you put in the first station you want to put in because of the weirdness with the not, absolutely not, I think I call it the absolutely not random algorithm that places the first station. I have seen the little flag, by the way. I did finally, somebody actually literally had to walk me through it, but I did find it. I know how to see it now. And we'll go look at that today. We're going to see. So you get in there and you try to create this stuff, and then the system doesn't work. Well, that part I think they're looking at. They're looking at how to make sure that, if you're trying to build something, as long as you have all the pieces that go to it, because you have prerequisites, right? It says you have to have this kind of building before you can have that kind of building. Fine. Every base building game on the planet does that. So, and then you build those two, but they need to work together regardless of the location of those buildings. So what they're saying right now is basically if you're going to do an extraction, you have to have the port and you have to have the ground facility to go with it to get it to transfer whatever it's extracting up to the station. Kind of stinky. Should still work no matter where you put it, because they have to dumb it down a little bit, because when they were building them themselves, they knew all the rules, right? So they just placed everything exactly where it's supposed to go. We're not that lucky. Now maybe the algorithm placed things incorrectly, but at some point it must have done it right, because otherwise the system, the whole universe wouldn't work. So there's got to be some kind of method to, making sure that no matter what we place, where we place it, it should still work in some capacity, maybe in a diminished capacity or whatever. Oh my goodness, there is willy-nilly, 07 Willie. So it should work, like a lot of people were. The complaint was, bio-waste and something else was the only thing getting produced in the system. Yeah, that's kind of stinky, right? So, stinky. Get what I did there? See what I did there? Give myself a GG. Thank you. It was stinky. So, so outside of that, yeah, sure, that doesn't work, whatever. I mean, it's not going to ruin your whole day right now, but down the road they need to iron all that out. And I know they're working on that, because they posted a Twitter like 20 minutes ago or something saying, hey, look, we're listening, man. We're trying to make all this, blah, blah, blah. But the one thing that I do want them to really consider is to give us same as carriers, right? If you launch your carrier somewhere and it's the wrong place, you got 5 minutes. 5 minutes to cancel that order, right? If you don't do it in that 5 minutes, well, then it goes through. Now, there's no reason. There's absolutely zero reason I can see why they can't give you 5 minutes to undo, because all it is a colonization ship. So the colonization ship has to scooch, or it has to do something else, or it cancels, and it because you get 3 minutes before the colonization ship even shows up, right? They could extend that. They should extend that anyway to like 5 minutes, and in that 5 minutes, you should be able to cancel that carrier from, or that colonization carrier from coming. That's all I think. I think that the majority of players would be okay with that. Now, the other part where you're going to wipe the whole system and then redo it, no, I don't think that that's going to be a thing. Now, so that's one of the biggest things I was concerned about, just making sure that, what I'm talking about is 5 minutes to undo a mistake. Now, I know that sometimes people are saying they're placing something. Now, I've seen it on a video. They place something somewhere and then it gets placed somewhere else. That's another reason that we should have a 5-minute oopsie, because there might be a reason that it did that, but it can't, like I said, if it's going to move from where you said and go somewhere else, that's unacceptable, right? So you gotta let them have time to undo that, or you have to make the commitment that the support team, which I'm sure is inundated with things right now, is going to be able to have the tools to help put things right. So that's another thing, and I'm sure that they're looking at that. They're not going to share that information with us, right? So in any event, there's that. Now, as far as BGS is concerned, excuse me, it's a tough one. So the background simulator, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of the heartbeat of the whole game, right? So things happen, things get pushed around. If you play power play, you maybe have an idea if you actually play power play and you're not just grinding merits. If you say, for example, if you want to represent a faction, you can. It's very easy. You can go in any system. Troll 07. You can go in any system. Say you start somewhere and there's in the mission board or in the right panel. I would think I can see it on here. So in the 4 panel or the right panel, right? You'll see there's like these guys, right? So let's say we're here, the Ukrainian Pilots Federation, the 10th Hawk Squadron. Hey, that's kind of a cool name. EXO. I like that. EXO. That's really cool. Amionets, Aristocrats, stuff like that. So all these groups, it would also be cool if we knew right here if they were a player group or if it was a, NPC group. However, I mean, sometimes you can kind of guess. I'm going to guess that probably the first 3 could be player groups, but I don't know. These guys, yeah, nobody would name their, no. All right. Anyway, but if you wanted to support somebody, basically, let's say the Ukrainian pilots, you could do that. And by doing that, you would go to a station in the system, and then you would go to the missions, and then you would only do missions for, say, the Ukrainian Pilots Federation. And that's how you would get influence. Like, so for right now, my influence with them, my reputation with them is neutral, right? So neutral just means, they don't care about me. I don't care about them. We're not fighting. We're not getting along. Nothing's happening. I'm just a number on a spreadsheet to them, right? So that's the way all these are. But if you start supporting a group, then what happens is you can actually push their influence. Now you see here, you'll see the Ukrainian pilots here have a 68.3% influence in this current system, which technically, they should, at that level, they should be able to go into an expansion, but they're not for some reason. And I'm not sure what's going on. There's no pending states. So for whatever reason, maybe it's broken, maybe whatever, but at 68, you would think that the Ukrainian guys would be able to expand. So what happens is maybe it's 70. I thought it was 60, but maybe it's 70. But at a certain percent, and look, I'm not a BGS expert, okay? 07 Hell's Gate, good to see you, my friend. I know enough to be dangerous, okay? So don't quote me on all this, but at some influence point, 60, 70, somewhere in there, automatically the BGS system says, "Hey, oh, they got a lot of influence here. Let's go ahead and open it up." So they'll go out. It'll go out. The background similar will go out and find systems that they can get into. Okay, if there's anything available, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they don't. Maybe there's nothing around here that's available. But if there's anything available, it goes into the BGS will go, "Oh, hey, look, we can expand over here. Let's see if if they want to do that." So basically, and like I said, I'm really rusty, guys, and I don't remember every little thing. But basically what happens is that your name, the Ukrainian guy's name, will show up in that other system. So XYZ system next door, right? Or, within 15, I think it's 10 to 15 light years is what the BGS does. And so it goes out and it puts your name. And I don't remember if it will allow you to do multiple. I don't know what you mean. Else, you have to be more specific. Anyway, so yeah, and it could put you in multiple places. But then what you can do is you take, your real players or and you go over there and you have to kind of fight your way in. You have to kind of get to a level. And if I remember, it was like 3 to 5%, and 3 to 5%, and then you could stay at least for now, right? And then if you go further, then you can eventually you battle your way up. You get within a certain, I think it was 5% or something, or 5 to 15% to the next guy up, and then that state again and that system will change to war or election or whatever it is in that system, whatever kind of conflict they have. So they did that. So in any event, so once all these things happen, the BGS, you can push yourself through the galaxy through the BGS similarly that you can do with faction. Oh no, I haven't talked about that. Hell's Gate. No, this is not that. The title, it's claim jumping. We're going to talk about claim jumping today. But I'm doing the before that. So give me a minute. So there's that. So the BGS, I'm just trying to explain briefly kind of some of the stuff the BGS does as far as players go. Now with colonization, and I haven't confirmed this yet. I'm waiting for the boys to confirm it for me. But what I heard today on another podcast was the Loose Screws podcast, is that to say if you have a squadron, and it doesn't have to be your squadron, but the squadron that you're in, if they have in their little squadrons thingy, you can go down and you can go to squadron management, and you can go to settings. Now, right now it's see, this is what I was worried about. I was worried about if I set it to something, I wouldn't be able to change it again. So right now I can't change it. It's grayed out. Yesterday I was able to change it a couple times. So there's a time. So right now this squadron is on Azimuth Biotech, right? So if we get within, if we go to a system where Azimuth Biotech is in, the top squadron, we can push their influence up high enough to where they can expand, and then we can expand Azimuth Biotech throughout the galaxy. All right. See, this is what I was asking people the other day. You can change it. You can change it. Well, yeah, okay, but not right now. I can't. So I don't know if that's stuck there or what. But yeah, that's if you have a minor faction in the game, or you want to just represent one, you don't have to own the minor faction to represent it. So whatever the minor faction might be, which I can't look at the ones that are available to me because I can no longer change this setting. And so, I mean, Azimuth Biotech's not the worst thing. We could do a lot worse than them. But, so you can take that faction with you in colonization as long as you colonize within 15 light years of the Azimuth Biotech's other systems that they may be in control of. So there's that, right? The if you have a minor faction, which right now minor factions are kind of in flux because they don't allow you to get them from Frontier anymore, and the only mention we've heard of them maybe making a return is in uh, Vanguard, which is so I guess what they're calling. It took me a while to figure this out, but I think what they're calling when they call it the spiritual successor is that what they're saying is this is squadrons, right? That's what they're calling squadrons. So basically, Vanguard is like a version 2 of this or an upgrade to this layout that we have right now, is what I think they're saying. Because I don't know of any other third parties, anything, or any other game called that, Vanguard or Squadrons. So I think that this is what they're saying is what Vanguard is a spiritual successor to. So this is where they're going to add in the extra things. And maybe when that comes out, maybe we'll be able to, hopefully they'll let us at least change. Like I'd love, at some point, I'd love to be able to create a new player minor faction and connect to it. See, I was testing to see if it was going to let me change it, and it did. But then now it's permanent, at least as far as I can tell. So there it is, boys. That was what I was asking everybody about the other day. How you choose it in there? I know I choose it, but can I change it later? That's the thing. See, like the power, I can go in there and change it right now. I can go be somebody else. But the faction, no, not so much. And I was kind of worried about that, but now we know, right? All right, so let me get out of this. Why do you not just let me out of it? Thank you. All right, so that's that. So in any event, it's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I know. Azimuth Biotech is not terrible. We discussed this. All right, before I did anything, I talked with the boys, and I said, well, here's our choices for now. What's the best case scenario for us right now? So now, as soon as actually Sergeant is the one that's going to confirm for us whether or not the minor faction carries over to a system that he's at now. But from what I hear on the Loose Screws podcast is that it should just go to the people that we bought the beacon from. The original beacon at that system should be the third faction in the system, third minor faction in the system. So that's okay. It was kind of more shady if you were allowed to bring your own faction, because then you could just plop your faction in the middle of pretty much in the middle of an enemy zone, just bing, hey, hello. And then you just start doing the influence right there and pushing your minor faction into everything. So it kind of works kind of like, like Power Play. Power Play is the same way, except it's got kind of more of a structure around it, right? Where if we want to take over a system for ALD, then we go to one that is not encumbered or whatever, or one that's already in a dispute, and then we help push that influence. And mostly you can push that influence by doing positive missions for the power that you're representing. And that's kind of why you see in the when you go to do missions for well, I guess they're superpowers, but they're not, you know what I mean? Power play powers. That's why they have all those different missions where it says power this and power that and power this. That way you can do the same kind of reputation boost without, ALD doesn't exactly exist in the system where there's an ALD on the list of the powers, right? So, yeah, you won't see ALD or whatever in this list here on the status, right? Or on the, what status? Why did it? Okay. Oh, I know, because I was in something. Okay. Yeah, you won't see like ALD here because this is controlled by the BGS. This is the BGS stuff. The power stuff is higher, like a higher level, and it puts certain influences on the system as well. It's very confusing. It's a very confusing system. 07 to you, Soul Daga. Good to see you. So anyway, that's kind of where it's at. So what some people are doing now is they know that they can push the, so being the architect of a system, some people will covet more than others. Some people want to own all the systems, like for them to be able to have clout, they need to own every single system in this area or whatever. Say like Pleiades or something. So for them to, have total dominance and, we rule, we have the biggest system, they have to own them all. So basically for BGS people, what they would want to do is they want to go in there and try to strip away as much of that power as they can to bring them down, to bring them down to a, and it also distract them, because if you're in there taking away all their power or their influence in a system, that's going to affect them, mentally, and because they're going to be like, oh my god, we don't control that. Oh my god. Some people go really hard in the paint on the background simulator, and like they fight. There's a lot of fighting. There's always fighting going on. There's also a lot of bartering. Like there's like, well, we won't touch system S if you guys leave alone system B. And then they go, oh, that sounds great. And then they make little packs. So there's all these little packs too. Like there's certain groups that don't want to screw with another group because they got what they got their empire, right? The BGS empire. They don't want to mess with it. Now, whether power play comes in and starts messing with that, that's another whole situation. That one's even harder to manipulate because you don't always, the power players are not as cognizant usually, I'm just saying usually, as the BGS players. So the power players are trying to fight for their power, or the BGS guys are trying to fight for their minor faction. Make sense? So they want control within that system. And if they don't if they don't like what power has taken them over, exploited them, then they have to choose another power and bring that power in and then fight them for that too. So it's kind of a double dookie. And I don't know if that's going to continue that way going forward, right? So where the BGS, now I don't know if at some point if the BGS is going to kind of hand off a lot of that stuff to power play, or if power play is just going to still be like this separate layer. I mean, if it was like a layered thing, you'd be like, here's BGS because that's your baseline, and then above it we have the power play. So it's kind of a higher level of control, and the bonuses that come to the system are not necessarily absorbed by people that are only playing in the BGS. If you're not in a power, you're probably not affected that much by what's going on with the power play. Does that make sense? Anybody? Have I confused everybody besides myself? So one thing people will do now that there's ribbons. I don't know. Let me see if I can see them. I don't even know if I know how to do this, but I know there's a way to like zoom out. So we can zoom out to a certain level, right? Oh my God, look at that. So there we go. We just zoomed way out on the map, right? So here's all the way out. Well, as far as mine will go, right? So that's where we are. That's where most of the people are. Look at all that shit like far away. Okay. Anyway, oops. No, now I want to go back in. Nope. How do I zoom in? Z. Zoom in. Oh, here we go. Where'd we go? Now I lost my whole... God dang. Hold on. Oop. Let me see if I can reset the map. I told you I'm new at this stuff. All right, so here we go. So zoom out X, right? So you can see all this pink. That's all the currently, built systems. But you can see right from here that there's a ton of white still. There's a ton of unoccupied systems. Okay, it's not like it went anywhere. It's just people don't know. But now if you look, and I don't know if we're going to be able to see this, but I know that some people have found, look at how big this damn bubble is. But some people have found there's going to be little stripes of, and we may be too far out. There's a pink one right there. But okay, so you can kind of sort of see it here, but this is out way out there, and then out in the galaxy, and yeah, you'll see like little pink dots way out here. Look at this guy. Where'd this guy come from? Who's that guy? Yeah, so there, but you'll see like these ribbons, and I know I've heard them mentioned before, but there's these little ribbons that go out from the bubble in different directions, and you can literally follow them in any mode you want, right? In especially in the colonization mode, and then you can see, for example, you can see where all the pink stuff is, and that's where people have colonized so far. But even in the bubble, you can clearly see it's not all full. It's not even close. Go in further. Ooh, there's a bunch of stuff. Look at all that. But if you want to, if you want to find a spot, there's many different ways, and there are tools. There are starting to become tools available to help you find what you want. I know Spanch is one. There's Edie something Buddy. There's all kinds of stuff. But what they'll do is say somebody's beelining it to another system or to another part of the galaxy, right? You can basically just go to that system. Yeah, you can never really be stuck. You just might have to, you might get stuck if you don't move your stuff out. Anyway, if you don't expand, you could get blocked in, but not really, because all you got to do is make your influence go up and then push yourself into another system. Push your minor faction into another system. So what people will do is they'll follow some of these guys, say they're beelining towards Pleiades or whatever, right? And they've already done that. So there's already a line out to Pleiades, and I don't even know where the hell it is. But then I don't even know where the hell Pleiades is because I don't go there. But it's around here somewhere. But anyway, you go to Pleiades or whatever, or say even the California Nebula, Witchhead Nebula, whatever it is, you will probably be able to find, if you look hard enough, the actual line to where they're going. A lot of people, so what they do is they're pushing out. So say this is the farthest anybody's gotten towards Witchhead. If you want to go there, you want to mess somebody up. If they're making a straight line, see right here, you can kind of, see how if you can kind of see where the line is, say this is the line, right? You can see the pink one here, the pink one here. They're going somewhere, right? So what people will do is they'll go to these systems out on the fringes here, and they'll wait. And so as long as that system's in flux, right? As long as that system's still being built, which, like this guy right here. Ooh, dang it, I lost him. Sorry guys, I'm not real good at this. But this guy right here, right? You see him? That guy right there is under construction. Now, when that one's completed, there's a certain amount of time you have between the time that it gets completed to when so what happens is when you complete a station, say it'll finish, right? And whoever finished it will have to deal with this like little cinematic. Say it's not really a cinematic, but that's what I'm calling it right now. And then during that cinematic, the station appears next to you, not too far away. And so what they'll do is once it becomes finished, the person that was waiting will either take off from the construction site or whatever, because they don't have to necessarily watch the cinematic, or they just see that the other station appears and they fly to it, and then they go in there and they hit up the colonization contact and then pick a system that's in line, or at least the best, the best possible direction they can find. And these guys are way smarter than I am, so they know how to figure out, like, they may know exactly where something's going. Now, if that person that found that is not in your squadron or whatever, that means that you're not going to be your guys or whoever that you wanted specifically to own these systems won't be the owners of it. So as a solo player, it can be. It's not necessarily always going to be true. Probably most of the time it's not. But it can be a possibility where, see this one too, this is another one that's going to the same place. And people forget too, there's also usually multiple efforts. So you'd have to see, you go to this place right here, you can see who it is that's going to be there. And then if so, let's just say the enemy to you was Sirius Inc. or something. You could go find Sirius Inc. in a system around there, and you know that those are the guys that are working on this stuff. And then you can't really block them per se, but you can certainly piss them off. And I know that works. And I'm sure that that's something that the BGS players think about, because their concern is always, can I push, how can I push my influence into this system? So any minor power in any system, you can represent them. You don't have to sign up to them. You don't have to do anything. You can just push their influence simply by doing things for them. And then over time, that influence goes up. So if you want to take somebody out of power in that system, you basically just push somebody else's influence up, get into a war with them, win that war. If you win that war, you can take them down and then take some of their buildings with you, right? So whatever it is, usually when you go into a war, if the primary person that you're attacking or the attackee owns property, then that property will usually go up as part of the deal. So it'll say, if you beat this faction, you'll be able to take over this outpost or whatever. And once you beat them enough times, then you can take over all their stuff. And if multiple minor factions own property in that system, then you have to fight all of them. If you want all the stuff, then you have to fight all. Usually, I think, as far as I've ever seen, mostly if there's a faction in power, they usually own all the buildings. Yeah, so that's you can prevent them from expanding. Well, okay, so I don't think you can prevent them, Hell's Gate. And I'll tell you why. Because you can't completely prevent them, but you could get them to where they couldn't colonize. But you can't keep them from expanding, because if they can get their influence up to 70% or 60% or whatever it is, they'll automatically go into an expansion state, and they'll end up dropping into one of those other systems. Now, if they can keep themselves in that system by hitting whatever, I think it's like 14% or something. Like I said, I haven't really looked at BGS a whole lot in about 10 years, about 8 years. So I'm a little bit rusty on exact numbers here. But if you can stay there, then you can push the influence in that system up. You can basically surround them, but you can't keep them hostage there. You can do it for colonization, because all you have to do is surround them all the way out to 15 light years, and then they're kind of stuck. But once they push out, once they expand into another system, because there's always like one or two slots at the end that are always open. So you can I think it's just one slot. There's always a slot you usually don't see, but if somebody expands into it, that slot opens up, and then you can push past whoever you want, and whoever the low man on the totem pole is, they'll get pushed out. So I don't think you can block them forever. You can definitely piss them off real bad, though. So that's what's going to happen in a lot of this colonization, is that people are going to try to do stuff like that. All right, so we got a couple new 07s. We got 07 going out to Sophia. And good to see you. Gunther, 07 to you. Yeah, so Sophia, I don't know if the impact, I don't know. I don't know what the actual impact is. Like, I think that if you, because being an architect, the biggest thing you can do as being an architect that I know of is get the 3% discount on everything in the system. I just don't know if there's anything more impactful. And the same with minor factions. I don't know, mostly because a lot of those systems that are owned by, let's say, I'm trying to think, if the architect is in the squadron that's in power, I don't think the architect gets any more money for that. I don't know. That's something that might come up down the road, where like if you control an entire system, you're the top power, and you are the architect or in the architect's squadron that's represented by said power, then you should get bonuses for that. But I don't know that that's how that works. At least not yet. I don't know that that's even a thing. Like, I don't know how much of a. I know in our system we didn't really. As far as I know, we didn't really get any particular bonuses or anything for having that system. But technically, that system doesn't even really belong to us. It belongs to the game. So the game, because the developers put that system in for us and put in the minor faction, and that. So when I started, when I started looking at colonization, like the account that originally started all that doesn't have power in the system or anything like that, or the minor faction. Yeah, I can't see either one. Like, they don't belong to me. Okay, so yeah, so a strong, so there is little things, but that's power play. That's power play. That's a different influence than the influence of the minor factions. The minor factions are the ones that own actual property and stuff in the system. The power play doesn't usually own anything, as far as I know. I've never seen, I've never taken anything over, and ALD does not ever show up in the in this list over here. She never shows up here, right? All these guys do. And actually, I'm right next to Li Yang Rui. I'm in Li Yang Rui's area, so he doesn't ever show up. Like, he doesn't come in here. But in the if you look under the powers, which is over here, right? Power play. Oh, I guess you don't really see it here, do you? Let's go to the map. Oh, this is a lot. This is a lot to unpack. That's why it's so confusing, because there's so many things going on. So Amunet, and then if I go over to power play, and I just I have all the powers toggle on. Let me just toggle them on. Okay, so you see the Yang Rui controls this, but he doesn't control the system. You know what I mean? So he's influencing it, but the influence for power play is different than the influence for BGS. And that's what makes it confusing. So if you block somebody in BGS, they can still get out. Now, as far as blocking somebody into power play, I thought they had a system in place to prevent that from happening as well, but it's two different systems. So so just make sure you guys let me know which one you're referencing, because it's, my brain switches gears real slow. Okay, so yeah, power play, different kind of influence. That's a different thing. That's more of a, and I guess I don't really know what the goal is of power play, other than to have. I don't know that you get. I guess maybe once it's a stronghold, you get more bonuses. Maybe for, I don't know, for what? Does it give you a discount somewhere? Well, I don't know what it does. I don't know what the power play does. Like what's the benefit of having it all, power play. So basically, though, but power play is not as tied to background simulator. It is tied to it, but it's not tied to it in the same fashion as colonization, because colonization is actually where you get to be the power that exists there, and you can then control it at. I think BGS is kind of more of a micro level compared to the power play. Power play is kind of an Because I know, like I said, if it's in layers, BGS is the baseline. Then you got your power play. Power play is kind of an overarching. It's kind of maybe it's a stepping stone to BGS. I don't know. I don't know how much BGS is going to be a thing after the Vanguard's update comes out. But in any event, sure. But yeah, you can basically. I don't want to stick too much to power play. I want to go to colonization because I want to stick more to that today. But so yeah, there's difference. But you can see right here. Here's a system right here. It's not taken. And you can literally. I'll show you one thing you can do though. Let me go ahead. Let's take a ship out and go over there. I think I switched ships last night. Did I? No, I didn't. Let's go ahead and get the right. Let's get the right ship. Yeah, I'd say power play is kind of its own. It's kind of a. It's a structured way. It's a more structured way of seeing the galaxy, and I think it's more palatable for a lot of people because they can kind of understand. Because power play literally tells you where you should fight, what you should do. It gives you suggestions, right? It doesn't tell you have to do these things, but it's like, hey, here's the influence of our power. Here's the influence of this power. Do you want to kick their ass? And go kick their ass. Here's how you do it. You got to do these things on this little list, and you kick their ass. Yeah, I mean, but it's still, come on, Hells. I fly around in hostile areas all the time. It's not that bad. It's not that bad in power play to be wanted. It's actually a lot worse if you get into trouble with the actual station itself. Then you get a little bit, when you get in trouble with the minor faction, that's when they impose all the jail time and all that. And if you get in trouble in power play, you also get the jail time from the BGS. I don't know if that's always going to be that way, because as far as I'm concerned, anybody that's in power play should be an open target to anybody else in any other faction. There should never be any kind of murder for that. That's part of that's kind of more of a military thing, and you're in the military. So, I mean, obviously killing civilians is bad, but killing anybody that's in an opposition power to you should not have any penalties. And maybe that's something they'll work on in the future. Let me get the right ship here. And we'll go take a look at we'll just take a look at some random stuff. Just because I can. And I love taking a look at stuff. So let me find, I think I need Milano. I think Milano is my ship. So anyway, let me remap that where we were. Oop. And then it should remap. Okay, so it should be pretty close now. But here's a system right here. This is in the bubble, and you're welcome to it if you want it. But because I'm not doing a whole lot of anything until they get some of this stuff ironed out. I don't want to have a bunch of problems. I kind of want to wait and see what they do. What FDEP does to kind of mitigate some of the stuff that's going on. Or not. Whatever they do. I don't know. I'm trying to be the kinder, gentler guy. I'm not gonna tech support them today. I'm gonna keep it on the low profile today, okay? All right, so we're just going to go over here. This is an unclaimed system, and we may figure out why immediately, but we're going to go over here. Now, I do recommend before you go get into colonizing that you do go visit the system first, because it just makes things a little bit easier. What I do now is if I find one that I like, then I'll bookmark it, and if nobody snatches it by the time I get situated, I'll come and I'll look at a system next to it and see if I can pick it up. But I've only picked up two systems. So this is a single sun system. Okay, nothing too exciting. You go ahead and you get your scan, and then what I usually do is I'll just go ahead. You do not need to DSS the systems. Okay, you don't have to. That's not a requirement. If you really want to get down and dirty as to what you're looking at if it's a big system and it's got a lot of different planets, and you want to know what's on each one because you want to do some kind of planning, then you can DSS. But I wouldn't worry about that right now. What I would worry about is I look at the system map and I make sure. That's it. That's all it's here. Now, apparently, it won't show it to me on this one, but let's see if we can find a better one. So, yeah, it does show it to you on here. So, This is what everybody's been telling me about this flag. I didn't realize, you know, there was a time when I thought these two things were the same, and they're not. So if you go here, so if you do colonize this system and you make a port, the first port's going to show up right here. Still don't like it. I'd prefer to be the one choosing the port spot, but okay, this is a perfect spot. So you could come and get this place, call it your own, and there you go. Boom. So what I would do if I wanted is I'd bookmark it and I would go to the next thing. But otherwise, I would just say, okay, that's cool, that's fine. And let's take another look. So we're going to look again. You see all these white, see there's white dots all over the place. Now, a lot of these made, you know, they may be single sun. You got to remember too, where we are in the bubble, there aren't as many gas giants and stuff in the area where we're at initially anyway. If you really want to find stuff with huge, you know, numbers of planets and ringed systems and all that, you kind of have to go out a little bit. You have to go at least, you know, maybe 1,000 out of the bubble. You'll find more. 2,000 out of the bubble, you'll probably even find more. But nobody's that far out yet. But eventually they will be. So that may be something you consider, is just hanging on tight until, you know, people move out of the bubble a little bit. Because it may sound like that's far away, but if you have a carrier, it's really not that bad. But do you need to be in the bubble? That's the other question you need to ask yourself. Do you need to have a presence in the bubble? What are you doing in the bubble? If nothing, why are you here? Go get a giant system, you know, excavate yourself into a lather, build your little lean-tos, do whatever. Just go out there in the black somewhere. Now, if they ever give us an opportunity to make stuff, you know, available, you know, for other people, where they can come and buy things, that's what you kind of want to do, is you want to get the economy set up so that people will come and buy stuff from you. All right, so here's another system. Now, this one's a two-sun. It's just a two-sun system. Uncle Jay, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you. So this one, again, I would just check it. And I'd go, okay. Yep. So this one, you can't even, this one's even better. You can't even, they won't even screw you on this one. But you can see where the primary port's going to go, which is something I had wrong. But my question is, though, what makes it pick that spot? Why didn't it pick this spot? Is that a possibility? How'd that happen? Is there an algorithm that determines what the best spot is? The non-random algorithm, the non-random algorithm. That's what I'm wondering. Sparger, 07 to you. Good to see you. Oop, 07s. So yeah, so there's another one. But you can kind of do this all day until you find what you're looking for, right? So, so you got a galaxy map, and you can just keep doing it to see how many there are right here. Another thing that's really nice too is that if you you guys know how to turn that. There's this thing, there's a setting somewhere. There's a setting somewhere. I found it once. Might be in this. No, it's not that. There's a setting I found in here somewhere that turns off all the connector lines that go, like, you know, you'll see people do streams now and they open up the system app and it's just all these lines come out, basically blind you to death. There is a way to turn that off. I don't remember how to do it, but it is in there. Found it. If I can find it, anybody can find it. But the thing I do like is when you're looking at the map, you can kind of see what direction you were going, where you came from, where you're going. So if you just want to go around, see this little cluster, you could go to every single planet in this little cluster and see if there's anything valuable. Now, and also don't forget, and this is something that I know somebody got mad at me for mentioning this the other day, but you can go up too, and you can go down, right? So look, you can go up. There's pink all the way up in the sky. Then you can go down. See, but most people only look at the map in the flat plane, in this plane right here, right? So you can see a lot of things, but you can't see everything. You literally can go down, 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 and down here. At some point, you're gonna see there's even more. There's like this one, the B1, the B4. What about this? Let's go check out SETI. AAZ, and the names of the systems sometimes give away what they are too, what they might have in them. And I know for a fact that, you know, like certain letters at the end here mean different things. So, yeah. So if you want to find like a D, I think is more likely to have a D something is more likely to have gas giants and stuff in it, or a B, maybe not so much. But they have different things in them. So let's do this one. Now this one's way down low on the plane from where we were a second ago, right? You can't really tell that in this view, right? We're going to go down there. I'm just trying to find more than one planet. Or more than one sun. Or two suns. Display options, system connect. That's it. Good job, Urban. I knew one of you smart people would know. I don't do trade, so that's just annoying to me. No, it's not the trade. The trade route ones are all colorful, right? This is just like, these lines are just like connecting one system to another. So you can kind of see where you can jump to, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I don't use them, whatever it is. That stuff is spooky to me. Okay, so there's literally nothing down here. This system sucks. Let me just double check. You know why I double check? Because sometimes they hide stuff. Oop. No. You. Oh, see, look, I didn't even see that second sun. Look at that. They hit it. My Vindicator guys are playing ED aging. They're aging? Like, what are they, like 90 years old? And they're trying to recruit? Vindicators, guys. Yeah, I'm not sure what any of that means, but it sounds amazing. All right. So, back again. We're going back to the system map. Nope. We went wrong place again. Fear, shame. Shame on fear. Give F's in the chat for fear, not knowing what the hell he's doing. Now there's an AAZ. Now I don't know if, yeah, like this B5, it's probably crap. Let's go down some more. Let's go down more. I like down. Let's go down. Going down. We're going to hell. Oh, look at all this stuff down here. Now I'm not gonna say that I'm expecting to find anything awesome today. I'm just I just want to find something that has something more in it than a sun or two suns. But you can see, when you're this close, you can see a whole bunch of, there's a whole ton of white dots that aren't done yet. And not everybody wants a system where there's 5,000 planets in it. You got to remember, if you get something like that, you're going to have to, you're going to have to keep maintaining it. Or, you know, I mean, why would you, I mean, I can't imagine in my brain why you would want a system with a bunch of stuff in it and then not do anything with it. That would be such a waste, but you know, maybe that's a thing. Maybe people just want to be wasteful and they want the system to stay pristine in its original condition and never be changed. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to say it's impossible. That Obe. Yeah, I don't know, Uncle Jay. See, that's why I'm curious if you've been drinking. Because your spelling is terrible. And I don't know if that's intentional. Yeah, but now you see where you can literally see it. You can see where it's going to go, but you can't move it. And that's the part I really think is suck. Yeah, this is another one where it's one or two suns. Yeah, so I'm not doing great on finding anything with planets in it, but I'm not very far out either. Let's go a little further. Let's go a little further. Let's go down. We're going to go down more. We want to go down into the bowels of hell. Hades sector. B9. And also, when you're looking, too, make sure there's a pink one nearby it. Because a lot of times, once you find something, if there ain't a pink one nearby it, you ain't getting it anyway. Let's go. We got to check this one out. Just the sheer name of it just gives me hope. Now I know somebody's gonna come and say, oh, you know, you can just go to blah blah blah. Yeah, I know I can do that, but you know what? Not everybody likes third-party apps, so We're just doing it the old-fashioned way, boys and girls. That's how what we're doing. Okay? Hey, Uncle Jay, we'll see you later. Pick up a lady of the Obe, I assume. You ain't got... What are you... Are you buying a prostitute? Is that what you're saying? I mean, you know, more power to you, but jeez. A lady of the night? Alright. Well, you have fun, Uncle Jay. Hey, we're just... Oh my god. See, now this one's interesting. This might actually have a planet in it. Ah. Oh. Might have 2 planets in it. Let's take a look. Let's take a look, boys. We might have found something good. You gotta come get it. Oh. F's in the chat for fair. He did it again. That guy. Alright. Oh. Oh. Yeah, so here's a... Oh, okay. So if you get this system, the primary port will be right there. Come get this one, Sophia. Look, it's right there. But yeah, always remember too, when you place your first port, don't place a big one. Just place a, especially if it's in something where there's like a gas giant or something. You know, there's nothing to land on here, so you're not gonna be able to build a colony. The best you could possibly hope for is some sort of an industrial or maybe even a pirate system. Pirate system might not be bad for right here. You could come in here, build a pirate system, and just have like a bar and some pirates, and you'd be singing yo ho ho, a pirate's life for me all day. Oh, you got them all. Okay. Hey, all right. All right. I was just trying to help out. My bad. I didn't know you was already on it. Good job though for having 12 bookmarks. All right, you know, I just throw stuff out there, guys. Sometimes it doesn't land, doesn't stick. All right, so basically that's it. That's how you see the damn thing. Is you got to be able to open the system. So you either have to travel there or whatever, or have traveled there previously. Then you can open it up in this mode, Architect View, and then you can see the flag. Still don't like it, but at least I can see the damn flag, because people kept telling me about the stupid flag and I couldn't see the flag. It's because I wasn't in the right mode. And yeah, so I was a little confused. So I retract my distaste for everybody that told me about the flag. Okay, you guys were right. I was wrong. So guys, it is about that time. I need to take a couple minute breather, and I will be right back. We'll get busy with some extra fun stuff here in just a second.
Where the cold winds blow, they fight through darkness with a radiant glow. Vortex Squadron makes waves in the night for a home they'll carve from stardust and light. In the void where the cold winds blow, they fight through darkness with a radiant glow. Vortex Squadron makes waves in the night for a home they'll carve from stardust and light. In the Milky Way they soar so high, through the cosmic mist they don't ask why. A dream to find a place to call their own, where their hearts align, they're never alone. Nebulous dance in the fearless quest, galaxies turn as they give their best. The void is vast, but their hope is one. With each star they pass, they feel alive. Comets blaze a trail of fire bright, yet they never fear the endless night. Together they conquer each new dawn, spreading dreams like starlight drawn. In the Milky Way they soar so high, through the cosmic
I'm back. All right, now. Man, it's been a day of days. Has it? Not? So this hour, besides the excitement of me just being here, we're gonna have to rate. We got to rate my thumbnail. I think it's that time. I'm out ice cream. I'm screwed. We're raw dogging it today, boys and girls. We're raw dogging it. So, and I know I didn't set it up, so I'm going to have to set it up on the fly. So give me a second. And as soon as it comes up, I'll switch it to the right picture. There we go. All right, so today we're talking about claim jumping, which we already talked about. And we have with us today Architect Zatara Flora. She's a wonderful architect. Using a little bit different art style today, but it's still pretty realistic. It's very realistic. And I also used a photograph that I stole from Elite Dangerous Frontier. I stole their artwork and made it into a thumbnail today because I was being lazy. Oh, Soul Dagger with a 9 right out of the gate. 9.5. All right, Urban Orange. Yeah, well, you are very close to what that is, to what Zatara is from. She's an aborigine. You know what I mean? Aberration. What's it called? 07 to you, Rohan. 07 Hot Nuts. A 66.6. That's interesting. You'd marry that one? Okay. Yeah, she's definitely a spellcaster. She's kind of out of water here, but I decided to try it for architects. I think they can be more magical. Willie, nice job. 9.9. All right. All right, Dino's with a hot 7. Hey, she's got a little muscle there, Dino. Look at that little bicep. You better give her an 8. Oh yeah, we're coming in hot. I'd buy that for $1. I can't even get that. Can you guys sing that note? That is a great thumbnail today. I think it's good. Wait till I see you tomorrow. So every day we introduce a pilot or an architect to the show. And so if anything goes wrong, I can blame them. It wasn't my fault. See how that works? And I like a little role play. You know what I mean? A little role play is good for the soul. And the guys get mad when I make dude pilots, so, you know, I'm kind of stuck. I feel terrible about it, but. Every artwork speaks to you. A language loud, a silent voice. Wow, okay. All right, buddy. Well, you'll be able to catch up with her on Instagram real soon. I'm going to put her on, she'll be on the Instagram page. So if you're looking for the Instagram page, there it is right there. Check it out. And you can see all the pilots and their little backstories. At least why they were created in the first place, or why they applied to the Vortex Squadron in the first place. So. Let us see where we were. Okay, so we were talking about. So another thing that happened this week was that when they were doing the update for the BGS background simulator, because there's been so much added to the game, it was going to take a really long time. And so I think what they're going to do is they're going to wait till next week to do it. Now that's really weird. I don't completely understand why they're going that route, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. So, oh, that's great. So, yeah, we could look for some more planets that we want, or more systems. I'm not going to try to snag anything. So, if you see me looking at something, you're more than welcome to it. I was just trying to see what I could find here. I was just, you know, people were saying that the bubble was like empty, and it's not. Now, it may be empty. It may be full all around certain places. Let's just see, because I remember the place that was talking about it was Lave. And that's over here. Oh, yeah, that thing's packed. Look at all them people. But there's still even open ones here. There's this one right here. Hydra sector. There's this one over here. HIP 72400. And which is the power here? Green? Who's green? Oh, so this is my Edmund? Or is it, yeah, is that the right color? Is that Edmund or Li Young Rui? Which one is that? Kind of a bright green? I guess that's, oh, that's Nakado Kane? God, there's a lot of greens. Okay. Okay, I guess it's one of those two. There's dark and then there's light. I can't. And then, okay, so then it's got that symbol too, which is kind of an interesting symbol. Let me see again. I've never checked these guys out, to be honest. I don't know. Power play. And then that symbol is, okay, so it is, what is that? Kato Kane, NATO Kane, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's an interesting. So that's where Lave's at. But there's still places out here. They're not a ton. There's a lot not here, but there are some. If you go to your little pink flag thingy, this is funny that you have to do like mess. You have to like wiggle the key in the lock to get it to show you what you want to see. Yeah. So there's something over there. There's all the. What's this over here? There's two right there. Are they just both crap? Let's go over this one. Let's go over this one, see what it is. Maybe we can get, maybe I can get us in a system over there. Alright, let's go. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. It's been a long week, my friends. I had to work really a lot of extra hours this week, so I'm hoping that it's going to be a nice, calm weekend. I'm in the bubble right now. I'm over at Amunet, so if anybody's looking for me, that's where I'm at. I'm not doing anything particular. I may go back out to California. I'll go back out there as long as there's still Thargoids there. Another little shenanigans that happened this week was the people colonizing the Pleiades system have actually been erasing the Thargoids there. So that's a thing, which now makes me really wish I had a way to better defend California, because if anybody tries to colonize that, we need to be able to kill them. And that may be something they just have to adjust, but you know, we set a precedent. Really. Yeah, it does look like it's getting a little bit of wonkiness. No, it's not getting any frames dropped. I was looking at the wrong numbers. Yeah, it's at 0 frames. So hopefully it's just a a temporary thing. I haven't heard any other errors, so I'll just keep on it going. You guys might have to rewind a little bit. Yeah, they blockaded the Pleiades. Good job, guys. Woo! Woo! Huh. Yeah, he doesn't get it. I had to explain it to him. Did you notice that everywhere you guys go, the place turns to shit? Maybe you guys should just not go anywhere. Just stay still. Until this is all over. You're driving us crazy. And you're killing off all the Thargoids. Thank God they haven't made it to California. Because I know they're trying to get over there. We already know. We already know where they're at. So I'm not going to be mad at people if they try to block or at least slow each other down. Because that's part of the fun. I think it should stay. You know, I mean, if you don't want to have shenanigans, then make sure you always take a buddy. I mean, let's face it, solo people are not going to go that hog wild unless your name is Chuck Norris, or I mean Sergeant. That's the only way. But even in that, it still takes a while for a single user to get around and do stuff. So just be wary. If you're trying to be greedy and take over the whole galaxy, you might want to make sure you got a friend. Take a friend with you. Don't go alone. That's my 2 cents on that. My tips. Yeah, I didn't hear all that crying about Thargoids when they kicked the other ones out of their area. Nope, didn't hear a word. Oh, it's progress! You can just go play somewhere else. That's what they told me. Oh, you could just go play somewhere else. Oh, yeah, now you can, because you done borked up your whole system. You want to claim it for humanity? You got it, bud. Boy, we'll never learn until all the Goids are gone. Then they'll be like, "Oh, wow." Well, I'm gonna be doing exobiology stream soon if this keeps going on. Because I'll have nothing left to do. I've already done everything else. Exobiology is the only thing that I fight with, and that's just because Sergeant is threatened me multiple times about throwing me out of the squadron if I even point a gun at a flower. So I'm just trying to keep it real with the boys. They don't actually care. I just like to wind them up. You know, they don't understand when I'm playing good cop, bad cop. I'm just, somebody's got to be the bad guy. Normally it's Meccan, but sometimes it's Sergeant. A lot of times it's Highlander. All right, so let's see. Let's see what's in this system. Probably nothing. Just one little star. So this is interesting, though. It does have 3 spots, so it's not completely worthless. You could put a primary port. Now, see, if it was just a sun, I would probably want to make the primary port like a. Yeah, the ladies. Yeah, all for my ladies. They're into like knives and throwing stars and big giant Gatling guns and stuff. They're all kind of killers. They don't. If I tried to bring them a flower, they would probably just cut my balls off. Just saying. Yeah, I don't know, where is Nuts? I'm back in the bubble. I know Highlander's out there. I know Rohan's out there. I don't know where Nuts is. Nuts has been, I don't know. Maybe he's drank himself into oblivion. I don't know. But anyway, this one's not terrible because you can put 3 other little thingies here. You could maybe put up a comms or a relay or something. You can't do anything on the ground, but you could put a Coriolis here. And then just that'd be like, could be a little bait. Now maybe you could do a pirate one here. These little ones might be great for pirates because all you really want from a pirate system is for it to generate pirates for you to kill. So I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to just come and get one for pirates. right? So I don't know. I mean, if you guys know anybody that's done something like this or anything about that, just let me know. I think that I feel like this should be a good spot for like a pirate base, where you can put in some pirates. And I mean, over by where we were originally. Oh, he's doing busy work. Okay. Well, you yelled at us for like a week that we had to go out there and do what we're good at. We need to go fight. We got to be doing blah, blah, we're the best and blah blah blah. And then you're freaking disappeared. Get out there and help the boys. They're out there waiting for you. All right. So where we were originally, well, we still are there, but so if we go to here, you should see all the stuff that's over there. There's a lot of stuff over there. We should have just expanded our own stuff. LTD 7126. Look, there's stuff all around this place. This is where our original system is, that I have no control over now because they didn't give it to me. It's just it's Frontiers now, I guess. But this is where my minor faction resides. Yes, even the architects will kill you. Yes. Yeah, like Zatara, she's a spellcaster. She'll jack you up. But yeah, so there's a lot over here too. And I mean, just tons. And this is in the bubble. I mean, albeit it was at the outside of the bubble, but it's not, look at all these systems out here. There's just tons of them. So if we wanted to expand LTT 7126, we'd have to go somewhere like right here or right here. Actually, let's fly over there and take a look. Because we're just doing show and tell today, boys. And then I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the night. I may end up going back out to California, but I'll post up a departure if I do. Orgemeyer, huh? So yeah, if you guys want to join us on the Discord, please feel free to do so. I'll put the link in the chat. It's also in the description below the video if you're watching later, which would be almost impossible because I don't think anybody watches me this long. But in any event, let's go over to Scorpii here. Oh, wrong keyboard. There we go. So I was looking at, I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's also a new joystick that's coming out from Thrustmaster. It looks a lot like the Turtle Beach one, and hopefully it doesn't break as much, but it's $400 for a dual stick setup. But the nice thing is if you break either one of them, you can just get a single stick for $200 rather than having to buy the whole kit again. Like you have to do with the one I'm using now, which is the Cytec or the Logitech X52 Pro, because I'm about due again for a joystick, but I just don't have the money for it right this second. But hopefully someday I'm gonna see about it. But I was thinking about maybe getting it because the footprint on it's not terrible too. The thing I don't like about what's the other one called, XBFs or whatever they are, the big ones, the Super Pro ones, those things are super huge, and I just don't have that kind of room on my desk. So VKB, that one, yep. Did you get a VKB, Sarge? Yeah, I don't know. Do you have the room for it? You better look, because look at the footprint on that thing, man. It's huge. You may be in the same boat I was. Is this 7126? Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, so if we go here, we can go over to Philippant. Let's go over to Philippant Dock here. We'll go in.
Fuel scoop disengaged.
All right. One of the Vortex Squadron carriers is still out there. I have dismounts. Okay. Never mind then. Of course Chuck Norris has all the space he needs. What was I thinking? Really? I gotta do a double loop of shame on my own frickin' system? Alright, here we go. That was a double loop of shame. Did you guys see that? It's crazy. My snake nest. What is a snake nest? Anyway, I just don't have the room for a big giant joystick. What, how am I getting punished? Did I miss part of a conversation? I'm like totally. Where are these guys coming from? I don't even know. Well, I'm trying to work it out because I say so many things I forget what I was talking about. Oh, you mean here with the double loop of shame? I got you now. Sorry, switching gears in my head just doesn't always click. No, I don't like that. I learned from the landing master Gunther that you just need to fly by the seat of your pants, and sometimes it works out. That's my new motto now. So we're going to go down here. I want to see what's available next door to this place. Now, if I hadn't have screwed up and assigned this squadron to Azimuth Biotech, I could have easily migrated out of this system. But no, I didn't do that. I screwed it up. Not that I really want to. I'm still hoping they'll let us pick a new one later in the Vanguard. But I hate to start the squad all over again. The boys will get tired of jumping around eventually. Alright, here we go. We're going in hot, boys. Look at that. Perfect landing. No hands. See, it's all nice and smooth. Look at that. Going over to old pad 15. It's one of my favorite pads. Not really. I was kidding. That was a joke. Yeah. Can you believe that's how good of a pilot I am, Gunther? I'm a machine. All right. So if we go in here and we talk to this lady, let's see what's around here. Laverne. Where's Shirley? Ha ha. See what I did there? Oh yeah. Oh, look at this. Yeah, this place is like, yeah, we could have easily got out of here. We could have got out of here big time. Not anymore. Not unless it has them with biotechs around here. All right. It was the lesser of two evils. That's all I can say. But yeah, it would be interesting to make some pirates. Look at all this. Look at how many things are being colonized right now, man. God dang. These guys are on point. They're just going to town. But there is a lot out here, and this is part of the bubble, believe it or not. LTT was part of the bubble, the original core. It was never attacked by the Thargoids. It's one of the few places that they didn't approach from this side, which was kind of neat. But this side is a lot closer to the Alliance than I care to recognize. The Witchhead Nebula. You're going nuts-a-rooney? What do you wait? You waiting for hot nuts to get out there? Because he was like demanding that we do what we're best at, and now he's opening engineers. Can you believe it? Yeah, we used to control a bunch of these systems in this area, like this BD 59, Astama, all these, and we had like six. We got up to like 6. Was it 6 or 9? I can't remember. It was quite a few systems. And there was only really like four to 6 of us that were ever online together. And we just couldn't, the wars just kept coming and coming and coming. So the BGS is a little tricky because you just never know. Because you can get attacked by whoever, and people learn how to manipulate the background sim, and then they will push themselves to you fairly quickly if they want to fight with you. So that's interesting. So, but now, see, the problem I have with this is if we buy a beacon here, then we would be buying the beacon from 13th Legion, which I don't want to do. So we would actually want to get away from them. The only advantage we have of LTT is that they can't kick my minor faction out because that's its home system. If it's your home system, it won't get kicked out. So hopefully they'll let me pick a new one in Vanguard so that I can, and then whatever the first system is, that'll be the home system, and you won't be able to remove them. Just like you can't do that in power play, you can't remove the power from its home system. It's basically a carbon copy, cut and paste of BGS, or you can't kick them out of their home system. That's why you can never take them complete. You can't take them over completely. So we actually did that before. We kicked out the Salty Dog crew out of their system. But now, I think if we look now, what was that thing called? Do you remember the name of their system? It was real close to here. Up. Went to the wrong button again. F's in the chat again. Yeah, that's real close by. And it's just a sun. And it's a sun and an orbital. That's all it's in there. Single sun and an orbital. But I'd try to put you could put like a little, I think there's a pirate port, and then there might be like a pirate beacon or something. And you could just have Pirateville right there and put a bar. Put a bar. That's not what I want. I want back here, and I want back here, and I want over here, and I want over here. Let me see if I can find that system. It's real close to here. Yeah, I don't see it. I can't remember what it was called. One with Salty Dog crew in it. They used to have that guy, what was his name? Harry Potter or something. But it was right around here. And before they fixed it to where you had home systems, we actually kicked them out. And nobody would report on it. Because everybody was friends with them for some reason. Because they were bad, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they were afraid they were going to get them. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, somewhere around here, there's a system where they were. I think they're still in there because you can't kick them out now. They had to put them back. I don't know where they went. They got kicked out. Huh. Anyway, I can't remember anymore. It's been too long. Been too long. All right. So, yeah. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I will try to answer them if I know the answer to them. Otherwise, I will probably see you guys tomorrow. Not sure what we'll be doing tomorrow yet. But I may be able, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the boys are doing. And then I'll see what I'm doing. And then we'll make a plan and we'll make it happen. Jump times have been much better. So, it's not, the most I've seen recently is like 20. Oh, no. Hot nuts. You got to do your engineers now. You got to focus power. But, yeah, so the jump times have been better. Obviously the system resource ships have been released, the Trailblazers. And there's a list of those in the Discord if you want to see. Unless you just want to go to, Elite site, our Frontier site, you can look at them there. I printed them out for you guys so you can go to those ports to help build a little bit faster. That's the plan anyway. But that's all I got today. My dudes and my ladies and my commanders and my architects. And I will gladly see you tomorrow. You guys take care of yourselves. And boom.
Stardust in your hair, you're a cosmic dream. Flying through the space on a laser beam. Galactic whispers calling out your name. carry our creed. In the silent vacuum where whispers lead, our beacon is bright, it never will stray. Follow the trail into the Milky Way. Wishing you all the best in the void out there. From the cosmic center, gotta feel that flare. Waiting to salute like a bright comet's tail. Commander will follow, no way we could fail. Way we could fail.